Many have asked, what triggers are you using on your iPad case? It has the 12 triggers, 2 foot pedals, absolute insane of a case. It's almost like cheating. What are you using? I am using the DIGI Shadow Stinger trigger modules. Now, here is my product review. The DIGI Shadow Stinger are sold as a left and a right on Amazon. It would be an affiliate link in the description. When you purchase them separately, it will have 2 triggers attached to each module. The Shadow Stingers are sold on Amazon as a kit where they are sold as a left and a right with their module attachments to the triggers. For some reason, they do not sell the individual modules by themselves on the Amazon affiliate link. I did have to source this from a distributor that I was able to source approximately 12 to 14 triggers because I was building an insane case and I did not need the additional attachment modules to the triggers itself. When modifying these triggers for my iPad, I had to remove the adjustment slider. I also removed the battery, and I also desoldered the mouse switch off the electronics. And surprisingly, they're actually using really good mouse switches. These mouse switches are used in a variety of different Logitech computer mice. So these switches are really good. They're a 1mm travel switch, very accurate. It is a pretty interesting layout that they have set up here. On this side of the board, you have the programmable button switch, the firing switch, the power regulation module, the USB-C charging port. And then on this side, you have the static electricity generator that activates when you press down the firing switch. It is a pretty interesting setup that they have here. So now let's take a look at how to set up the triggers on your phone. You receive your DIGI Shadow Stinger in the mail. You want to put your ADS and your shoot button at the top of the screen. Slide the trigger over the buttons so that the cap air module is at the very top. Do the same thing with the fire button. Now you're able to ADS in and shoot. As soon as I release the buttons, my fingers are continuing to firing until I release my thumbs off the screen. This is a common problem with the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. It's some sort of residual static buildup up on the screen. I'm not too sure exactly why it does it. I do not have any of the rapid fire buttons enabled. So as you can see, when I press down that right there, the green light is on. I'm going to hold down the button again and my fire. The buttons are off. It's continuing firing. As soon as I release my thumbs off the screen, it stops firing. That is something to do with some sort of static residual buildup. I'm not exactly sure why it does it, but for some reason, this is a common problem with the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Now, some other phones may experience the same issue or experience similar problems as exactly what I've experienced on my iPad. And what those issues were is where I'd hold down the button and I'm ADSing, and then when I go to release, it would still be holding the button down as if the trigger was still enabled until I tap the button a couple times and then it releases. I believe it's some sort of like static loop or something. I'm not too sure exactly why it does it, but it is a common problem. So I did come up with a way to resolve it. And one of the ways to resolve the issue is by creating these spacer shoe things that I created 3D printed. There will be a link in the description for the STL file. I'm currently not going to be selling these as of this time. I don't have the capacity to 3D print these. Now, I will be able to ADS and fire without it spazzing out. Working perfectly. Absolutely perfect. As soon as I remove these, it should still... Same problem again. Now, one way to fix this is by shutting your screen off, turning the screen back on again. Problem solved. But this major issue is going to come back again over time. And if you do move your triggers around a little too much or they get repositioned, occasionally it could cause that static buildup again, or the trigger will be held down and frozen. That is why I created these spacers for my iPad, because I didn't have where it'd be held down continuously all the time, exactly like the Samsung phone had that problem. The iPad was more or less every maybe 1,200, 200 fires pulling the trigger down, it would randomly be held down for a minute or for a second, and then I'd just double tap that button again and it would solve the problem. So if you're interested in printing these yourself, there will be a link in the description for the STL file. My Samsung Galaxy S8 does not experience the same issues as the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. And every phone is slightly designed differently with their circuitry and the digitizers on the phone. For some reason, the Galaxy S8 does not experience the same problem as the Galaxy S10. The iPad and iPhones that I've tested does not experience the same issue as the Galaxy S10 either. But my iPad did experience over time that where the button would be held down, even though the button was not being pressed, the light was not being activated. I had to tap it a couple times until the digitizer realized the trigger was not activated. I'm not too sure what it is. Like I stated before, some sort of static buildup. I'm not experienced in the exact circuitry schematics of exactly how each one is designed differently. It's beyond me. But my assumption is that some sort of static buildup. And what these pads that I created, these little spacer pads, provide a 1 millimeter spacing between the contact point of the trigger itself. So you have this little rubber contact pad that touches the glass, and right under the contact pad is the static generator underneath the rubber contact pad. And when I put the spacer on here, it provides a 1 millimeter space between the glass and the contact, and immediately fixes the problem on the Samsung Galaxy S10. I'm going to demonstrate the uselessness of the programmable button, which is not a rapid fire. What you have to do is make sure that the switch is on the oval marking. And then what you want to do is hold down this button here, this little button, and then make sure it is flashing red. And then you can set the designed tap pattern. And then press the button again. Saves the pattern. And so when you hold down the button, it will continue the pattern that you created, which I find completely useless. So let me know in the comments, have you ever used these triggers before, or any other brands? What other type of triggers do you currently use? Do you use the copper tape? Do you use the hammer design? Let me know in the comments what type of triggers you currently use. Also, make sure you smash that follow button, that like, and that share button. It definitely helps out my channel. Also, again, there will be a link in the description for the Amazon link for this product if you're interested in purchasing it. It is not the one with the single module. It has the module attachment to the trigger itself. So make sure you smash that follow, like, and share.